It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Hey guys, what is up? My name is Michaela Smith-Campbell, the fashion designer and founder for the fashion design brand MACK Smith, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am super excited to be doing this video because I feel like for the longest time we have been having discussions about sustainability in the fashion industry for the past few years, and I wanted to go over this for the longest time. Today I'm going to be discussing whether or not recycled polyester is more sustainable than regular virgin polyester. To start off, polyester is not sustainable whatsoever, whether it's recycled or not. So I just want to throw that out there before I dive deeper into this video. Just because something is recyclable, it doesn't mean it's biodegradable. It doesn't mean it's always going to be sustainable for the environment. It could be a better option in some cases, but in this case for polyester, it has some pros and cons to it. So we're gonna get deeper in polyester, especially recycled polyester in this video, so stay tuned. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up as well. To compare and contrast both recycled polyester and regular pure polyester, I'm going to be going over each of the fibers individually so you guys can get a better understanding and a deeper dive the sustainability factor of polyester versus recycled polyester. So to start off, polyester is a synthetic fiber created through a chemical reaction involving both petroleum and PET. And throughout this video, I'll be saying PET, which is abbreviated for a longer word that's really hard for me to pronounce. So I'll just put the word down here for you guys so you guys get the full word of what PET is. And PET is a plastic derived from petroleum. Less than 100 years ago, polyester was created within the 1940s. So it's a younger fabric. It's obviously man-made and synthetic, but for the past few years, it has been such an issue within the fashion industry when having conversations about the environment, the recycle, reuse factor, circle of life. For you guys to get a better understanding of how severe the process of creating polyester is, whether it's recycled or not, I really want you guys to get a deeper understanding of how harmful it can be to the environment and to the people creating polyester. So I'm going to take you guys step by step on how polyester is created. So without petroleum, there is no such thing as polyester. Petroleum is a crude oil in the ground that is extracted from the earth by these large drilling machines. And petroleum, it's already a crude oil that is created over hundreds and hundreds of years from fossilized debris and items. Anything with oil related, you guys, isn't the most healthiest with air when it boils down to extraction or heating, which brings me to the next step. That petroleum that is dug up by these large drilling machines is then transported to these refineries where heat, fueling, electricity, high pressure are used to break down that petroleum into these smaller molecules. And this process is referred to as cracking because essentially what these manufacturers are doing are breaking down the oil so much with heat, pressure, and all this electricity, which creates gas emissions, which creates energy, and you're utilizing so much energy. Just like imagine how much energy you need to break down a natural resource substance from the ground to break it up in small molecules. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. These smaller molecules after the cracking process is created are called ethylene, which is a chemical from these broken down molecules after heat is applied, electricity and pressure is applied during the cracking process. And then this substance, ethylene, is now even broken down more so by cooling, high pressure, heating, water, and even more catalysts to produce newer material for the polyester. Mix in, create a new substance called ethylene glycol. And when you mix the ethylene glycol with acids, and I'll also put the names down here, you guys, because I will be abbreviating these longer pronounced words for you guys. But the ethylene glycol is mixed with DMT and an acid TPA, and these three chemical compounds go through a process to combine all of them, more heat and more pressure, creating PET, which we know as plastics. And these are the same plastics that create water bottles, soda bottles, and a lot of package wrapping. The PET liquid is then dried and chopped up to make little plastic pellets. And these PET pellets are then melted and then extruded through these little tiny holes called spinnerets to form these long threads that are cooled and hardened into a fiber. In this process, the PET being melted and being pushed through these little spinneret machines to create a long fiber. It's actually called melt spinning. And then lastly, these fibers are twisted together to create a polyester yarn, creating polyester fabric. Just to show you guys the breakdown of how toxic the fumes are, I mean, just to the environment alone, I can only imagine how much gas that the actual workers that are creating polyester through like the first step of production, their work, labor environment looks like, and how they're being safely equipped. Just breathing in all the chemicals, as toxic as the polyester production is, it only makes me think about the workers and what they think of it, because I can only imagine if it's toxic for the environment and the water resources. I can only imagine what the workers and their safety equipment that they're wearing and utilizing hopefully feel about it. I don't know. I just can't imagine breathing in a lot of these fumes, especially when you're dealing with oils and you're taking substances that are acids and heating constantly, adding pressure, cooling, adding more pressure to create polyester. So I really am curious to see where these polyester production manufacturers are and what the safety regulations are for the workers and for the environmental practices in that country, wherever the country may be. I'm sure after hearing about it, you guys maybe have like a better understanding of how toxic polyester is, and even if it's recycled, and I'm going to get into that in a bit. I feel like when we do talk about polyester or synthetic fibers in general in the fashion industry and really any design industry, whether it's like furniture and upholstery, I feel like we don't actually have a full understanding. We know it's synthetic, we know it's not biodegradable, but I feel like people do not know how toxic the polyester production is to create polyester and how polyester is sourced. I don't think a lot of people know like that the depth of polyester. We need petroleum, the natural resource of oil, for polyester fabric. We need to extract oils from the earth to even start or talk about the polyester process to begin with. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. That's why I really want to do this video for the fashion designers out there, for people in fashion out there, or people who are sustainable or talk about sustainability and buy into these companies. Sometimes a little bit of a greenwashing, marketing for recycled polyesters, being sustainable. I just wanted to educate anyone out there who are buying these products because they feel like they're more sustainable. Just about it in depth more, what you're not being fully explained. Of course, for polyester, I understand that there's both pros to polyester as well as cons. The cons are definitely outweighed by the pros, but to go over them, some pros of polyester for the environment and in general, it does have a lower water consumption than natural fibers. Natural fibers being cotton, being hemp, linen. So it does have a lower water consumption, granted, because it's not grown polyester. It doesn't really require a lot of water resources. Next, of course, for a lot of designers out there, sometimes we do end up getting polyester because it's cheaper. It's a lot more cheaper than a lot of other fabrics. And I know for me, I do also buy polyester when I am creating garments. Sometimes I buy the actual fabrics because I do like the way the finish is, or I do like the way the texture is, or the pattern, print, regardless if it's polyester or not. So for me, I'm one of those people who do still buy into this kind of stuff. but I definitely still wanted to create this video for educate anybody out there who is more sustainable and want to buy products that say recycled polyester. I just wanted to educate you guys, honestly. There are good properties of polyester when it comes to the wearability of it, such as it's very durable, it's lightweight, it's versatile, it's sun resistant, it dries really quickly too, and it's also stain resistant. It's easier to remove stains from polyester than there are natural fibers, as natural fibers are more absorbent to dirt, oils, and stains, whereas polyester, because it is plastic, you can easily remove it a lot easier and quicker. And it also is more resistant to wrinkles since it is a plastic-based fiber. And then there are people who want to argue that polyester, because it isn't natural and as biodegradable, it will last longer. However, a t-shirt that is made from polyester will outlive a t-shirt made from cotton, so that way you don't need to keep rebuying tops. But in the reality of it, there are people who do have polyester created garments that aren't going to keep those forever, that are still going to keep buying and buying and buying, because I mean, in society today, we're just a mass production society and we just buy into what the newest trends are. I'm just saying like a blanket statement for people who will buy into more things because trends are constantly changing. And then of course you have life hitting you. Maybe your life fluctuates. Sometimes you might just want to move, you might want to get rid of stuff and bring new stuff in just naturally. So I mean, that's just kind of society that we are. So realistically, someone who's going to buy a polyester top because it's going to last long and they don't need to rebuy often is most likely going to be buying more tops, no matter what kind of tops they are, even though knowing that they know that that top is still going to last them a while, they're still going to rebuy tops. There's a give and take to polyester in that department. However, there are so many cons, you guys. I mean, some of the most obvious ones I kind of went over during the production process, that being polyester is highly polluting the environment. The production itself is very carbon heavy base, creating 40% of fashion's gas emission. So can you imagine one fabric out of any other fabric fiber, whether it's cotton, silk, leather, linen, that one fabric is producing 40% of all of fashion gas emission. That's crazy to think about. Like, that's how impactful this one fiber is. Polyester, for the most part, is not biodegradable. It would roughly take around 200 years for polyester to decompose completely. It requires a high energy use. I mean, of course, when I was taking you through the steps of the production process of polyester, just for the oil alone and breaking down oil into smaller molecules, so much energy process, so much heat, and just so much pressure just to break down these molecules. And you're also using a lot of acids mixed in just to combine acids and other compounds. It's a lot of energy in itself. And then we're utilizing petroleum, which is a non-renewable resource. We cannot make petroleum ourselves. Petroleum takes years and years and years, like hundreds of thousands of years just to create in itself. We're using around 342 million barrels of oil each year just to create polyester. It's honestly kind of crazy and scary because as we're creating new polyester, and there's already so much polyester fabric out there, you guys, we keep taking oil that we can't create. It's not man-made resources. It's non-renewable. We cannot make petroleum oil ourselves. For the suppliers who are creating a lot of these polyester fabrics that designers, manufacturers buy to sell to stores for designers to buy or sell to designers, throughout the whole supply chain process, after the polyester is created, a lot of the times for designers, any big retail companies, it is very hard to trace back to the original supplier creating the polyester to fully understand and know where the sourcing is coming from and to be fully transparent on your brand. Because I know with a lot of these clothing companies are leaning more into sustainability, creating products that are more sustainable, have a sustainable element. And when you go back to the original origins, and I'm talking about origins meaning like who made these fabrics, who are these suppliers, how did they make these fabrics, what were the production process just for these fabrics, where they were sourced, you know. And then some countries, they do have different environmental regulations, so sometimes it's really hard to track and to be fully transparent in your own collection about being more eco-friendly or more sustainably conscious. So you guys, it's almost impossible as a fashion design brand to be sustainable. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's literally almost impossible for fashion designers to call their brand a sustainable brand. I mean, there are maybe a couple of ways. Be like upcycling at the most as a designer and maybe selling it, but it's almost impossible for a fashion design brand to call them sustainable. Now, they could be doing things to better lessen the production process, like going towards a recycled polyester, but I mean, or instead of using polyester, they could be using better natural fibers such as hemp. But it's almost very impossible for a brand to be a sustainable, 100% sustainable and honest, transparent brand. So that's that with polyester. To show you guys the difference of recycled polyester. Recycled polyester is a synthetic made fiber derived from post-consumer plastic waste. So we're talking about bottles, fishnets, any plastic garbage that is already used by consumers to be considered recycled polyester. This is still using the PET as a raw material as well. So you really have to work with the PET. And so to make recycled polyester, the PET is shredded and melted down. And then after the PET is shredded and melted down, it then repeats the same cycle towards the end of the production for pure polyester. The hot melted PET is then pushed through spinneret to form long threads that cool and harden into a fiber, which this process once again is called melt spinning. These fibers are then spun to create a polyester yarn, creating recycled polyester. So I mean, again, recycled polyester, you can skip steps 1 through 5 from the production of pure polyester, like the extraction of petroleum. So you can skip like all that beginning process and then combining the 2 acids TPA and DMT along with the ethylene glycol. You can skip all of those processes. You're really skipping like to the last few steps when it comes to recycled polyester. Okay, you guys, so of course, I definitely wanted to go over the pros and the cons of recycled polyester, starting with the pros. So a pro of recycled polyester is that 1 kilogram of recycled plastic equals around 60 water bottles that we could be using, which obviously creates less waste being in the ocean, less waste being in landfill. Another pro of using recycled polyester is that it cuts down the reduction in energy of polyester by 50%. So it's 50% less energy utilizing and creating recycled polyester over regular polyester. Remember, you guys, it's because we are eliminating about 6 steps of the production process for virgin polyester. Remember, that's extracting the oil, combining all those acid compounds, breaking down molecules. We're already eliminating that because we're just starting from PET, which is the plastic, and then the PET is melted down and then created into these long threads that are then twisted to create a polyester yarn. So we're only using the last few steps of the polyester production process when it comes down to recycled, because again, recycled polyester comes from PET, post-consumer waste plastic already. And then because of that, we're also cutting down gas emissions by 75%. Of course, there's cons to recycled polyester as well. That being the most obvious, it's still not biodegradable, recycled polyester, because it's still polyester based. And then it does create microplastics. A lot of these microplastics happen in both regular polyester, to be honest, you guys, and recycled polyester. When we do wash our clothes, in the process of washing the clothes, these little fibers of polyester do chip out of the clothes that are then filtered into our water systems and pipes. A lot of these microplastics still go around the ocean, still go around in the air that we're breathing in. And then there's about 500,000 tons of microplastics that do go into the oceans annually, so that's a lot just from washing alone. And it's also washing during the recycled process when a lot of these PET material substances are broken down. Out of these breaking down, they really do create it so that it's like really chipped before it's melted. In that process, a lot of microplastics that are getting chipped up into the air that we're breathing in and getting into a lot of these water resources. And recycled polyester, you guys, overall, in the production process, it is a little bit better than regular polyester because it cuts down a lot of the steps of production. However, please do not label it a sustainable fabric because it is not sustainable. Recycled polyester at the end of the day is still polyester. It's still plastic. It's still not biodegradable. It still has microplastics in it every time you wash. Once you have recycled polyester, it cannot be recycled. Recycled polyester, yes, it is helpful because we are eliminating and using the PET sources from water bottles, fish nets in the oceans. So we are eliminating waste, but at the same time, when we eliminate that waste, we're making that recycled polyester into newer things that are still going to be waste. It's still going to be there. So even if you were to throw out shoes, or, you know, I know Nike a couple of years ago had a collaboration where they were using a lot of ocean waste to create a line of sneakers and calling them sustainable. It is not sustainable, you guys, because it's still, at the end of the day, dealing with plastics, dealing with polyester. It does help that it does eliminate some of the ocean waste. We're really moving one issue and making something new out of it. For it to be thrown out again in a different kind of way. So I don't want to call things like that being completely sustainable because it's not. There are efforts into being sustainable and doing that, and you know, I love the idea behind it. At the end of the day, it's not really as sustainable because you're still dealing with that same fabric. Even though it is being repurposed, it's still going to be discarded, so it's almost like the life cycle, it's still going back into the same issue. So it's not really a full life cycle moment. Is in terms of, you know, using less energy and using less oils in terms of extracting petroleum from the ground. It is a lot more beneficial recycled than regular polyester. So that concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this below. If you guys have learned anything, hopefully I'm only here to educate you guys in the fashion industry, as well as speak to you guys about design, show you guys style and everything underneath the fashion umbrella. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a like and a subscription. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.